Hey, it's Sherman. I've got 3 things I want to share with you today that when you actually apply them, I think they're going to, number 1, totally revolutionize the way you think about real estate. Number 2, speed up your progress as an investor. And number 3, start putting dollars in your pocket a whole lot faster. Now, don't just take my word for it. These are the same 3 secrets I shared with a gentleman by the name of Howard Johnson. That's right, the very same Howard Johnson from Alexandria, Virginia, who came through our doors after having spent thousands of dollars with out-of-town gurus. And as he said to me, Sherman, I don't even know if you or anybody else is capable of telling me the truth about how to make money in real estate. And I'm like, well, why are you here? And he said, because everybody I've talked to said, you're the man to know. I said, thank you very much. Now let's talk about what you know about real estate versus what you don't know about real estate. And as we began to share and talk, I realized a lot of the training he had got from a lot of these out-of-town gurus was just flat out wrong. And I said to him, Howard, let me share with you 3 things that if you apply these 3 things, they will totally revolutionize the way you think about real estate. They will make things happen a whole lot faster. And part of what will be happening a whole lot faster is money will be flowing into your pocket. Well, I tell you, it wasn't more than 4 or 5 months before Howard had closed not his first, not his second, but his 3rd deal. And during that first year as an investor, went on to close 14 deals. And of course, now he makes well over $100,000 a year. Now, am I saying you're going to make over $100,000 a year? No. What I am saying is if you think about these 3 secrets that I shared with Howard and you actually apply them in your life, you may very well see very similar results. So what are these 3 things? Number 1, the currency of real estate. Now, what do I mean by the currency of real estate? Well, if you stop and think about it, currency, right? What is the currency? In other words, what is the thing that makes everything else go round? If you were to go shopping in a shopping mall today, what is the currency of a shopping mall? Yeah, credit cards. You know, in the old days it was this thing called cash, but today it's credit cards. Fairly soon, it'll be something like Apple Pay, and if Apple is successful, which I think they will be, then Google will come out with something, right? And you just literally just wave your hand or wave your iPhone or whatever. The currency, it's the thing that makes things go round. If you were to go shop on eBay today, what's the currency of eBay? Well, it's not cash. And for the most part, it's not even credit cards. It's probably PayPal. If you're an eBay user, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, in the world of real estate, there's certain thing that is a currency. It is a thing that makes the business go round. And once you understand how this works, your life is going to be a whole lot easier, especially as a new investor. Once you understand this, you're going to be able to identify mentors, you're going to be able to fast track your learning, and you're going to be able to make more money. So the currency of real estate, it's not money. So what is this currency of real estate? The currency of real estate is deals. The currency of real estate is deals. In other words, all those courses that you bought on how to do sub-2, lease option, raise money, put those things aside. The single most important thing that you need to learn during your first 6 months in the business is how to put together deals. Focus all of your time and attention on the thing that's really going to have the biggest bang for the buck. Why? Because even if you understand where to find a deal, you may not know how to put a deal together your first couple months, but if you at least know where to find deals or where deals are being found, you can get control of a piece of property and bring that to somebody else, and that other person will pay you. That other person will mentor you. That other person will sort of take you under their wing, because once they believe that you know how to find deals, then they will be much more interested in your success, because your success is now being tied to, you got it, their success. And I can't tell you how many people have walked through the door of our academy, our club, and said, hey Sherman, I'm going to be your ace rock star, remember my name. Hey Sherman, can I buy a cup of coffee and pick your brain? Hey Sherman, can I take you out to dinner? No, 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 no. If you really want people to pay attention to you, get good at finding deals. Because if you came to me and said, Sherman, I want to buy a cup of coffee, I'd be like, great. And then I'd probably keep on trucking. But if you said to me, Sherman, I think I found a deal. I think I found something in Prince George's County. I think I found an apartment deal in downtown Baltimore. Guess what? I'm going to be asking you if we can have a cup of coffee? Because the currency of real estate is deals. That's where you should be focusing your time and attention, on how to put together deals, learning where to find the deals, putting your time, energy, and effort into identifying properties that could be good deals, and then bringing them to people who are willing to mentor you, coach you, and most importantly, pay you for those deals. The currency of real estate is deals, number one. Number two, there's only two places to get deals. Forget everything you heard about lease options, subject to, contract for deed, right? Forget that stuff. Hard money, forget that stuff. There's only two places to find deals. Now, once you find them, there's some other things you need to know, and if you don't know them, somebody will teach them to you. You can literally take a deal and use that as currency, use that as leverage to look over the shoulder of a more successful real estate investor. But there's only two places to find deals, and here they are. Number one, realtors. You find deals working through realtors. In fact, I wrote a whole course on it. It's called 21 Days to Real Estate Riches. It's the most successful real estate investor course ever written for the newbie investor, because it focuses on the 80% of the market that's controlled by realtors. Most investors tell you to stay away from realtors. I'm the first guy that came into your life and said, no, don't stay away from them. Learn how to do business the way they do business, to build your team, to make some money, to get going in this business. So realtors is the first way. But there's a second way, and in many cases, it's an even better way. What's the second way? FSBO. For sale by owner, meaning those deals that are not controlled by real estate agents. And those deals can be some of the most lucrative deals you ever do. So the first order of business is understanding how to work with realtors and put a system in place to work with realtors, right? And if you have if you have the 21 Days to Real Estate Riches course, if you're a Gold Plus member, you've gone through the apprentice program, you have everything you need to learn how to work with realtors. So let's talk about the second area. Let's talk about the FSBOs, the for sale by owner. What's a FSBO? A FSBO is the person who just got a divorce, and now all of a sudden they're thinking, gee, I don't know if I can afford this house on one salary. A FSBO is the person who was in a horrible car accident, and maybe the insurance is finally starting to kick in, and maybe they're going through litigation now, and maybe they'll get something out of the lawsuit, but for the time being, they're having a really hard time paying those bills. And they're beginning to think, maybe what I really need to do is downsize and sell this house. A FSBO is somebody who, for whatever reason, can't make their mortgage payment, and they're now beginning to think, gee, maybe I ought to bring in a renter, maybe I need to go back home and move in with mom, maybe I need to go move in with the kids, but whatever's going on in my life, I'm now starting to think about selling the house, but I haven't hired a real estate agent yet. Or maybe a FSBO is somebody who did try working with a real estate agent, and they very quickly realize, hey, the real estate agent wants me to spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 to replace the carpet, paint the walls, fix the broken appliances before they will even take me on as a client and list my house. I can't afford to do all that. I need my house sold, and truthfully, I don't even want to pay a real estate commission. That's what a FSBO is. In other words, anything and everything that's not being listed by a real estate agent is a FSBO. And here's the secret. You need to get good at both. You need to get good at identifying and putting systems in place to go find those deals that are marketed by realtors, but you also need a system in place to identify deals that are FSBOs. You say, well, Sherman, what about understanding creative deal making? What about understanding nothing down? Listen, I co-wrote the book. Robert Allen, Mr. Nothing Down himself, the two of us got together a couple years ago, wrote a book called New Rules of the Game. I understand the complete ins and outs of nothing down investing. But the first order of business is not to learn how to do lease mods and loan mods and deed mods and all that other stuff. The first order of business is identifying those deals that are being marketed and sold, or for that matter, may not even be marketed and sold yet by a real estate agent. Because once you identify the deal, you can take that deal to somebody who will mentor you, who will show you how to put together the structure. Don't confuse lease options, subject to, nothing down, contract for deed, and all those other wonderful forms of creative deal making, don't confuse the structure with where the deal is coming from. The first order of business is to identify the opportunity and then figure out how you structure the deal. So am I saying all that other stuff is not important? No, I'm not saying it's not important. I'm saying it's not as important as identifying where these deals are and putting those deals under some kind of control, not necessarily under contract, but some kind of control, and then immediately rushing to somebody who has more experience than you, and then putting yourself in a relationship where you can look over their shoulder to learn how to put those creative deals together. The reason why most investors fail, two reasons. Number one, they don't get started. Number two, they put themselves in a situation that is way over their head, and they get too confused, too scared, too much fear, and they slip into that paralysis of analysis. And remember that the confused mind always says no. So don't be confused. Get clarity. What I'm saying is the single most important skill you bring to the table, even as a new investor, is getting out there and identifying opportunities and then bringing those opportunities to mentors and coaches and partners who are going to help you close deals, right? So there's only two places, there's only two to find deals, realtors and FSBOs, which brings me to the last secret. When it comes to FSBOs, only those who are prepared to dominate the market will win. Now, what do I mean by that? It's not enough to sort of casually go into a neighborhood to look for deals. It's not enough to sort of casually approach this business. No, you got to be prepared to totally dominate the business. In a room full of 100 investors, those who are actually getting deals done is probably about 10%. And those who understand how to dominate a market when it comes to FSBOs are the ones who are getting all of the phone calls. Would you like for me to give you an example of that? If you're part of DC REIA, if you're in the DC area, there's probably a pretty good chance you've heard of this guy named Howard Johnson, Mr. Incredible. Howard Johnson dominates the market where he goes after deals. That's why everybody calls him. It's sort of like, who won the Masters, or which football team won the national championship, or which baseball team, won the World Series, right? And sort of in any given year, most people know who came in first. Who came in second? Well, it's the same way when it comes to dominating the market with respect to FSBOs. Now, here's the good news. You don't have to dominate the whole market. You can pick and select what we call certain target markets and totally dominate those neighborhoods. In fact, if you are a real estate agent, or you know somebody who's a real estate agent, or you've hung out with real estate agents, that technique is called farming, right? And if you've ever driven down the street, right, and you go back to a certain neighborhood, go back to a certain neighborhood, go back to a certain neighborhood, you'll probably notice when the houses go up for sale, there's typically only one or two real estate agent signs that go up in that neighborhood. Well, where's everybody else? Everybody else is out targeting a different neighborhood because somebody got there first, and they're totally dominating the market. They're so dominant in the market that when anybody else thinks about selling a house, that's the first person that they call. You can do the exact same thing as a real estate investor. Even if you don't know anything about creative deal making or raising money or even how to put deals together, you can still dominate the market in terms of people calling you, homeowners calling you, and that's ultimately where you want to be. Where motivated sellers call you first, even if you don't understand how to put together deals, or you don't feel very comfortable putting together deals. Because look, once somebody calls you and you capture their information, you now have the currency of real estate. You can now take that opportunity to a more experienced investor who will basically take it from there and pay you money as either a bird dog or a wholesaler, or maybe even partner with you and give you the opportunity to look over their shoulder and to get better and better as an investor. But the first key is understanding this third secret. You've got to be prepared to dominate the market. In fact, I like to say, in most things it's like 80-20. You ever heard the 80-20, the Pareto principle? Like 20% of the people get 80% of the profits? And that's true. That's true, except when it comes to FSBOs. It's not 80-20. It's more like 2%, 98%. 2% of the people control and dominate the ability to target a specific market and dominate that market, and everybody else comes to them. It's sort of like, hey, I was thinking about getting a deal in Boot. Oh, so-and-so is the go-to guy. So-and-so is the go-to gal. If you're going to be going to that neighborhood, you need to go see so-and-so first, because they're all over that neighborhood. They dominate that neighborhood, that market. That's where you want to be. And it's not that hard to get there. In fact, I'm going to give you a 7-step process for doing it right now. Here we go. Step number 1. So for more insider secrets on how to dominate your market, learn more about this wonderful real estate business and be more productive, and of course, make more money, go ahead and fill out the information below, give us your information, and we'll be sure to send you an email alert for the next exciting upcoming episode of 10 Minute Real Estate. Go ahead, take action now.